covered the city, and the people who worshipped the stars bowed to stones they carved with their own hands. The city, founded by the grandchildren of Na'es, had now destroyed even the last traces of Tawhid. At first Nimrod was different. He gave justice and showed fairness, but as his kingdom grew his heart turned to stone. Pride came quietly and spread its roots in silence. One day, he went too far and announced, "I am your God, worship to me." He placed his statues in every square. He ordered idols made of gold, silver, and bronze, but the greatest idol was himself. People were to worship him. The punishment for those who did not was clear: death. The temples were no longer only places of worship, they became centers of production. Hundreds of workers carved idols, day and night idols, representing the moon, statues for the sun, and shapes of the stars. The state even had an official duty. Minister of temples. Darkness had grown so deep that deviation became a state policy. As you watch this video about the hidden secrets between Nimrod and Ibrahim, you will hear Shaytan's role in this story for the first time. Before we begin, a small reminder: rose into the sky using specially trained birds. Since the story does not seem reliable to us, we will not go into its details here. Standing on the top of the tower, Nimrod shouted into the emptiness, "Where are you, the Rab of Ibrahim? I am here. I have come to take your kingdom." He pulled his bow tight. The string was stretched so hard it looked ready to snap. With all his strength, Nimrod shot the arrow into the heart of the sky, into infinity. The arrow pierced the clouds and disappeared from sight. There was a silent, intense waiting. Only the sound of the wind could be heard. After a while, the arrow fell back down at great speed and struck the ground in front of the throne. Turned into fish. These reports do not claim historical certainty, but they carry a truth in the memory of the people. Fire was defeated by water. Oppression was defeated by mercy. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam came out of the fire. He walked away. He left the fire behind like dust shaken from clothes. He did not challenge anyone. He did not say, "Did you see?" He did not take revenge, because he had won his cause not with fire but with submission. The Quran praises him like this. Indeed, Ibrahim was gentle, deeply feeling, and one who turned to Allah. Hud 1175. Gentle, what a strange description for a man who came out of fire, but this is the language of truth. After this miracle, nothing in Babylon was the same. The idols were still standing perhaps, but cracks had formed in the hearts. Nimrod acted as if he was not defeated, but deep inside he knew a king who could not even make fire burn. What kind of God is that? But pride takes a person all the way to the end, and Nimrod had not yet reached the end of his path. For Ibrahim Alaihi Salam, the time to stay was over. The city had become too narrow for him. A new path would open, a new beginning. Hijrah, and a new beginning. The fire was out, but oppression was not. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam came out of the fire. Babylon was still there. The idols were still in the squares. Nimrod was still on the throne. The miracle did not end disbelief. It only made the line between truth and falsehood deeper. Some hearts believed, but power became even harsher, because oppressors do not repent when they see a miracle. They prepare for greater oppression. At this point, the divine command came silent, clear, with no return. This was not an escape. This was leaving. Hijrah was not because of fear. Hijrah was to protect the cause. For Ibrahim Alaihi Salam, Babylon was no longer a city. It was a curtain, a heavy curtain standing in front of the truth. Everyone turned their back, but one person stopped. Lut. The Quran says it clearly, and Lut believed in him. Ankabut 26. This sentence is short but very heavy, because it shows that Ibrahim was not alone after the fire. It shows that the cause did not remain with one person. Lut was Ibrahim's nephew, but this bond came after the bond of faith. He saw that the idols were silent. He saw that the fire did not burn, and his heart decided. Sometimes faith does not come after long preaching. Sometimes one moment of truth is enough. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam was not alone. Sarah was with him. Our mother Sarah, she was calm, she was patient, she was a quiet strength. The Quran does not speak long about her, but she is always there in Ibrahim's journeys, because some people are written not with words, but with their stance. Sarah was a companion who lightened Ibrahim's burden in migration, in poverty, in danger. Faith was not carried on the shoulders of one prophet alone. There was a family carrying this cause on the road of Hijrah. There was another test. The Quran mentions it briefly, but reports speak clearly. Ibrahim and Sarah entered another land. The king of this land was oppressive. He desired women he was especially interested in. Married women. This news reached him. They heard about Sarah's beauty, and she was called to the palace. This was not a palace invitation, it was a threat. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam knew this situation, and he said to Sarah, "If they ask, say you are my sister." This was not a lie, because he meant sister in faith. Sarai entered the palace. Her heart was not calm, but she was surrendered. The king wanted to approach her. At that moment his hand was held back. Pain spread through his body. He was afraid. He stepped back. "Pray for me," he said. Sire prayed. The king was released. He tried again. He was stopped. He understood this woman was protected not by soldiers, but by prayer. The king stepped back. He did not touch Sarai. The king was so afraid of and impressed by Sarai that, as an apology and a sign of respect, He gifted Hajar, one of the most noble servants of the palace. Ibrahim, Sarai, and Hajar together left Egypt after this event. They turned their route toward the lands of Palestine, and Haran Ibrahim earned his living as a shepherd and became known for his hospitality, but there was sadness in his heart. He had grown old, and he had no child to carry this cause after him. The shared destiny of Hajar and Sarah would later open the path to the establishment of Mecca, a path that would change human history. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam had left, but Nimrod remained. The miracle of the fire had silenced Babylon, but not Nimrod's heart. He did not step back. On the contrary, he covered his fear with pride. This is how oppressors are. When they see a miracle, they do not bow. They build a bigger lie. Nimrod could not burn Ibrahim, but he did not tell the people this way. He sat in his palace, he stood firm on his throne, and he said, I wanted to burn him, but his Rab saved him, so I offered sacrifices to his Rab. These words were not faith, they were fear dressed up. Nimrod did not accept Allah. He only feared Allah's power. This is the difference between faith and fear. Faith submits, fear only hides after the fire. Nimrod's nights changed, his sleep was broken, his dreams grew dark. He strengthened the palace gates, he increased the guards, he watched everyone with suspicion, because an oppressor fears the most when he is alone, and Nimrod was alone. Ibrahim was gone, there was no one left to silence, but the voice was inside Nimrod, bring the sun from the west. This sentence never left him, not on his throne, not in his bed. The Quran does not tell Nimrod's end by name, but the law of Allah does not change. Oppression continues, but destruction comes suddenly. Allah did not come to Nimrod with lightning, not with an earthquake, not with fire, because fire had already taught him his lesson. Allah struck Nimrod with the smallest thing, a fly. The Quran explains this measure like this. Indeed, Allah is not shy to give an example even of a mosquito or something smaller. Baqarah 26. This verse is the key to Nimrod's end. One day it began, the air changed, the sky darkened, not with clouds, with flies. It is reported that Allah sent swarms of flies over Babylon and its surroundings like dust. Like fog, people ran, but there was nowhere to run. The flies stuck to the skin, they sucked blood, they ate flesh. People dried up as if their insides were emptied. This was not a sudden death, it was a slow collapse, because oppression is destroyed slowly. Nimrod was afraid. He left his palace. He locked himself in his fortress. The walls were thick, the doors were iron, no fly can enter here. He said, oppressors always say this, nothing can happen to me, but Allah does not enter through the door, he enters through the keyhole. The most terrifying part of the reports begins here. It is said one of the flies was crippled, it could not fly. It is narrated that it said, oh my Rab, I could not reach this destruction. Allah opened a way for it. That fly entered the room where Nimrod was through the keyhole. No army, no sword, no fire. A fly. The fly first landed on Nimrod's knee. Nimrod noticed and chased it away. Then it landed on his face. He chased it again. Then it landed on his nose and stayed there. The fly entered through his nose. Slowly, silently, it moved toward the brain and stayed there. Nimrod's head began to ache, but this was not an ordinary pain. It was destruction from within. He screamed. He called out, help me. The servants looked and whispered, is this the God? He cannot even defeat a fly. Nimrod could not bear it. He said, hit my head with a hammer. They struck him. The pain decreased. They struck again. It decreased again. For 2 months a god lived by having his head beaten. This is the fall of power. This is the funeral of pride. One day a servant struck harder and Nimrod fell. Silently, without honor, forgotten. No army remained, no palace remained. A fly defeated a king. This is not a tale, this is a warning. In the words of the Quran, Allah does not guide the wrongdoing people. Baqarah 258. Nimrod was told to bring the sun from the west. He could not. In the end, he could not even remove a fly. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam did not see this destruction, but he heard of it, and he knew this. Allah gives victory to his cause, not with fire, but with time. The oppressor rushes in. Truth is patient, and the one who is patient always wins. Nimrod had been buried in the ground, but the tests of Ibrahim Alaihi Salam were not over. Oppressors go, tests remain, because Allah tests his close servants not only with fire but also with separation. Years passed. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam grew old. Our mother Sarai grew old. There was a lack in their home, silent but deeper child prayers were made. Nights passed, patience grew. The Quran describes this state briefly but powerfully. My Rab, grant me a child from among the righteous. Safat 100. This prayer was more than a wish, it was a request for a trust. Our mother Sarah had a servant Hajar. She had been given as a gift by a king. She was quiet, she was humble, but her destiny was great. After long reflection, our mother Sarah freed Hajar, and she asked Ibrahim to marry her. This was not an easy decision, but great tests require great hearts. Ibrahim married her, and Allah opened the door. A child was born, Ismail, a voice after many long years, a breath, a hope. The house was filled, but hearts became mixed. It is reported that when Ismail was born, the Noor passed. The heavy trust of the line of prophets was placed into one body. This was not an ordinary child. This child was the beginning of an ummah. Our mother Sarai was human. She had a heart, she had pain. She loved Ismail, but there was a pain inside her because the child she had waited for did not come from her own body. This was not a sin, this was a human state, but the test deepened here. Our mother Sarah asked that Hajar and Ismail be taken to another place this was not expelling, this was setting a boundary, and this boundary was opening to a divine plan. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam hesitated. But the command came this time. There was no fire this time. There was no miracle. There was only the command. The Quran records this scene with a prayer. Our Rab, I have settled some of my children in a valley with no crops near your sacred house. Ibrahim 37. This verse is the verse of a journey. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam took Hajar, and the small Ismail Jibrail guided them. Mountains were crossed, valleys were passed, and they stopped around them, stoned the land, dry the horizon. Silent, no crops, no water. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam asked here. Jibrail pointed, yes. Here this place was today's Makkah, but on that day there was nothing, only destiny. Ibrahim placed Hajar and Ismail there. He left with them a little water and some dates. Then he turned his back. He took steps forward, and Hajar spoke. O Ibrahim, she said, did Allah command you to leave us here? This question was not rebellion, it was the key to submission. Ibrahim stopped without turning his head. He answered, yes. Hajar fell silent. Then she said, then Allah will not abandon us. This sentence is the foundation of Mecca. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam walked away. He did not look back, but his heart stayed behind. A father was leaving his child in the desert. A husband was leaving his wife alone with thirst. This was not something reason could carry, but faith goes beyond reason. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam moved away. He climbed a hill. He raised his hands. The Quran conveys this prayer. Exactly, our Rab, turn the hearts of people toward them and provide for them. Ibrahim 37. This prayer would be accepted thousands of years later. Our mother Hajar was left alone. Ismail was crying. The sun was burning. The water was decreasing, but her heart was calm because the question had been asked and the answer had been received. Makkah was founded like this, not with stone, not with walls, with the submission of a mother, with the tears of a father, with the destiny of a child. This valley was not an ordinary place. It would become the heart of the earth. But first there was thirst, first there was loneliness, because Allah begins even the greatest cities from nothing. The desert was silent, the sun hung in the sky like a heavy stone. Our mother Hajar was alone. Beside her was a baby, around her was nothing. Ismail Alaihi Salam began to cry. This was not an ordinary cry, it was the sound of thirst. Our mother Hajar looked, her baby's lips were dry, his breathing was becoming weak. For a mother there is no heavier sight than this. Our mother Hajar left her baby for a moment and moved toward a nearby hill Safa. She climbed up, she looked around, nothing. She went back down, this time to the other hill Marwa. She looked again, nothing, but she did not stop, because submission does not mean sitting still. Submission means doing everything you can. This running did not happen once, not twice, not 3 times, 7 times. Each time more tired, each time more helpless, but each time with hope. During every run our mother Hajar did one thing. Even while running she kept looking back at Ismail, because a mother does not forget the trust. Even while searching for hope, at one point she stopped, she turned back, and she heard a sound. Our mother Hajar turned, she looked at Ismail, and she saw it. Water was coming out from under the feet of Ismail. At first it was small, then it increased. The ground split, water burst out. This was not rain, it did not come from the sky, it came from the earth, because sometimes mercy comes not from above, but from below. Zamzam. Our mother Hajar became worried. The water was flowing, it was spreading. She used her hands, she gathered the soil, and she called out, Zamzam, stop, stop. These words entered history. They gave this water its name, Zamzam. This water is still flowing. Centuries passed, empires collapsed, cities were destroyed, but Zamzam continued to flow. Our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, may Allah have mercy on the mother of Ismail. If she had left Zamzam as it was, it would have become a river. Bukhari. Anbiya. Birds came, they flew, they landed near the water. This was a sign. Travelers saw the birds, they said, there is water here. They came closer, they saw our mother Hajar, a woman, a child, a spring. They asked for permission to stay. Our mother Hajar accepted. The first tents were set up, the first fires were lit, but this fire was not the fire of Nimrod. This fire was for life. Makkah was born like this, with the footsteps of a mother, with the thirst of a baby, with the patience of a spring. Zamzam still speaks not to the ear but to the heart. With every sip it says this, Allah never abandons the one who submits. This water does not only remove thirst, it also removes fear, because this water is the memory of one word, yes. The 3 tests of Shaytan. Zamzam had burst forth, but the test was not over, because Allah does not remove tests after giving blessings. On the contrary, He deepens them. The new period was beginning for Ibrahim Alaihi Salam. One night Ibrahim Alaihi Salam saw a dream. In his dream he was sacrificing his son. He woke up, his heart tightened. This was not an ordinary dream. Still he paused, he waited. The second night, the same dream. The third night, the same scene. Now Ibrahim knew this was not a whisper from Shaytan, this was a command from Allah. The Quran makes this clear. We gave him good news of a gentle son. Safat 101. And right after that the test comes. Ibrahim decided, but this decision was not taken alone. His son was also part of this, cause Ismail had grown up. He was old enough to walk with his father. They set out with them were a knife, a rope, and a heavy silence. Shaitan always attacks where he thinks people are weakest. This time he went to the mother. He came to our mother Hajar in human form. Do you know, he said, where Ibrahim is taking your son? Our mother Hajar answered calmly. To a friend Satan smiled. No, he said, he is taking him to sacrifice him. He thinks his rabbi commanded it. These words were poison, but Hajar did not panic. She asked, did Allah command it? Yes, our mother. Hajar paused, then she said, if Allah commanded it, then it is good. Satan fell silent, because submission is the only door. Satan cannot enter this time. Satan turned to Ismail. Do you know where your father is taking you? To a friend. No, said Satan, he is taking you to kill you. Ismail stopped. He was not surprised. Did Allah command it? He asked. Yes. Ismail picked up a stone and threw it at Shaytan. If Allah commanded it, he said, there is nothing to fear. Satan was driven away again. Then Satan made his final move from the hardest place. He stood before Ibrahim Alaihi Salam. O old man, he said, are you trusting a dream? What if this is deception? Ibrahim stopped. His eyes became firm. You are Shaytan, he said, stay away from me. He picked up stones and threw them at 3 different places. These 3 stonings are the origin of the Jamarat performed during Hajj today. This is not a tradition, this is resistance. The mother submitted, the son submitted, the father submitted. That is why this test is great. The Quran seals this scene with these words, when they both submitted, and he laid him down on his forehead. Safat 103. There is no shouting in this sentence, no struggle, only submission. It is reported that the angels witnessed this scene. The heavens trembled. Ibrahim stopped and spoke to his son. O my son, he said, I see in a dream that I am sacrificing you. What do you think? This was not an order, it was a testimony. Ismail replied, my father, do what you are commanded. You will find me among the patient. Safat 102. This is a word with no equal in history. A child walks toward death like this. Ismail Alaihi Salam made his final requests. Tie me tightly, sharpen the knife. Do not look at my face. These words are not dramatic, they are real, because faith is not decorated, it stands as it is. Ibrahim Alaihi Salam cried, but he did not stop. Tears do not prevent submission. The knife was drawn, it did not cut, it was drawn again. Still it did not cut. Then the command came, O Ibrahim, you have fulfilled the dream. Safat 10. For the test was over. The divine substitute Jibreel came. He brought down a ram from paradise. Takbir rose. These takbirs still echo today. The Tashriq takbirs began like this. The father and son returned. They reunited with Hajar. A family had passed the heaviest test, and Allah remembered them with these words, indeed this is how we reward those who do good. Safat 110. This is not a story, this is a measure.